is that true? By the way, you have 4 million right now. Or is it 4.5?
It's like 4.1, but
Wait, so how does one do that? How did you like? When did you start getting into TikTok? I'm always so curious, even though I filmed you that one day, but I wanted to like, get like even a little deeper.
Okay, so basically it was
I just want to start off by saying that I'm so happy that you are here. Yes, I'm smiling right now if you can't see it. And it is genuine and is coming from my heart because I want to say that I am so grateful that you are alive and here right now. Who am I? My name is Jonathan Garano, and welcome to another episode of Spill the Pho. That is PHO. What is this podcast about? Well, this podcast is basically where I talk for about 5 to 10 minutes where I just rant and I rave whatever comes top of mind. Things like I just mumbled, that happens. That's okay. That's part of the podcast. And that happens for the first 5 to 10 minutes. And then after that, I bring someone on, usually from the creative industry, who decides to kind of like open up about their creative journey and educate basically anyone who is just curious or who is also trying to get themselves to pursue a career in the creative industry to know what's going on. Exactly. But because this isn't, you know, Spill the Entrepreneur or Creative Industry of Titans, this is Spill the Pho. We then begin to peel the onion, as you could say, get into deeper layers, get into the weeds of life, where they begin to spill their thoughts, their minds, their emotions, their soul into the world. Because, listen, a creative person, you definitely want to know how they got where they got. You know what I'm saying? But I think there's something even more special when we're able to break down kind of the layer of their career and get into what I love to say the importance of who they are as a person. See, that's just top of mind. I'm just going. I'm just going. I'm just flowing right now. I'm really excited about the person that I'm bringing on today. First off, I just want to say that I'm getting the hang of this whole remote podcasting situation. And it is currently 1:32 a.m. in the morning as I'm trying to prep to make sure that this episode and all the sound is working correctly. And I had to redo this intro. But the reason why I say that is because my landlord is upstairs, and I hope to God he doesn't text me. Even though he loves to play tango music to 12 a.m. in the morning, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So, who am I bringing on today? Today, I am bringing on this wonderful individual named Mia Finney. I am absolutely enamored by this guest, or I'm just enamored. I mean, yes, she has 4 million TikTok followers. Yes, she has over 150,000 YouTube subscribers. Yes, every single time I open up my laptop and go to YouTube or open up TikTok or open up Instagram, I see her flying about going viral once again. She's on Reddit. She's just like springing up everywhere. Okay? Mia Finney. That's Miafinney. She is someone that I am absolutely full of joy, fully enamored by daily. And it's not really because, yes, those stats are wonderful, but when I first met Mia so many years ago, and when I mean so many years ago, I mean 2.5 years ago, let's just say it this way. I believe that there are two types of people in this world. You have givers and you have takers. And no matter how many times people say, I fall in this line of right in the middle, in reality, everyone leans to one side. you know, they just do. And there's nothing wrong with that because you both need givers and takers in this world to make the world go round. And with her, she is someone that leans heavily on the giving side. I repeat, heavily on the giving side. She's someone that loves to push people towards the spotlight. She loves to lift as she climbs. Basically, she's someone that loves to, rise the tide so she can rise all boats. Wow. I know that's a saying or that's a quote somewhere, but I didn't make that up. I know that "Lift as you climb" is something that I heard while when I graduated college, and I understand that when you rise the tide, you rise all boats is some sort of old saying. But when I think of Mia, that's exactly what I think of. She's someone really, like, no matter how much success she has, her mindset has always been, what can I offer? What can I give to you? That's our first instinct. Now, what can I get? Now, what can I get out of this relationship? Now, what can I get out of this opportunity? It's more like, what can I do with this opportunity? How can I help this person who is in front of me? And that is why I absolutely adore this individual. So I'm so excited that she's here today. Basically, long story short, hippity doo dah dandy. I'm so freaking excited. um, man, gosh. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my beautiful people. I did like a little chest stretch and I just cracked my chest. How did that even happen? Anyway, with that said, let's jump into the episode. This is Mia Finney. But before, remember, if you enjoyed this, please go to the Apple Podcast and rate this episode or subscribe somehow to Spill the Pho. You can always check out my Instagram at DoGoodJonathan and also the highlights at Spill the Pho on Instagram. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my beautiful, wonderful people, here is the episode.
Woo! Is that too loud or too close?
No, it's perfect, actually. You sound fantastic. On a scale of
Wow.
1 to 10, I want to say it's beautiful sounding.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. So this podcast is a little different because what I like to do is I like to just like spill the pho, as in people just open up, their hearts, their thoughts, their minds, and just to spill whatever comes into play. So this isn't one of those like career podcasts where I go, "Hey, oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, it's the great, wonderful Mia Finney, the TikTok star that has
Stop.
4 million followers. Holy shit! How did you do it?" So, wait, is that true? By the way, you have 4 million right now. Or is it 4.5?
It's like 4.1, but
Wait, so how does one do that? How did you like? When did you start getting into TikTok? I'm always so curious. Even though I filmed you that one day, but I wanted to like, get like even a little deeper.
Okay, so basically it was October 2018, and I was at some Cameron Dallas event, and I met my two friends who were also like creators on Instagram, but I guess they were doing TikTok. I think it was still no, it was TikTok then. And his dad was like, you know what? Like you're kind of funny. Like why aren't you on TikTok? And I'm like I don't know. Like it's new. Like this is it was fresh. Like Musically had just turned into TikTok.
Hmm.
And so I was like, you know what? Like maybe I will give it a try. I ended up not giving it a try like at all during that year. And then I tried like in January, February, and then
Right?
in February is when it really like took off. And so I
You
gained
mean
like
the
a
app
hundred.
or you?
What?
Like, what do you mean like took off?
Oh, okay. So in February 2019 is when I like actually started to try and like make videos like consistently. And so like that's when it started taking off. Like I got 100K within February, and then March I got another 100K. So each month I was getting 100K followers, and I was like, okay, like I'm getting some momentum here. Like let me make it a goal of mine to, try to grow at least 100K a month at minimum. And so I did that pretty consistently. I think in April or May I gained like 300K, and
Jesus
then one
Christ!
month after, like I didn't like have like any growth. Don't know why, but it was okay. Like I still had grown a lot, so I wasn't like too bummed out about it because I
Right?
was like, you know what, I'm making good content. Like I'm growing like pretty fast, so it's okay. And then like I just kept going and going, and then November 2019 comes around. So March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So 9 months from when I started TikTok, I gained 1 million followers. It was a huge thing because I'd never had 1 million followers before.
Right. I was so fucking happy for you. I was like, ah, motherfucker.
Yeah, it was so fun, and I like cried a little bit because I did a live stream to like lead up to it. And
Hmm.
so like my friends were also on the live stream, and they made this like little like Mia 1 million like video, like me like reacting on the live stream, and I was like, oh, like that's so
Aw,
cute. But
that's
it was
so
like,
cute.
yeah, it was so cute because like all my followers like in the live stream were like, oh, you're so close, two more, one more, and then everyone was like, ah, congrats, and it was like this little big little party, and so
Tears running down your face.
no, no, no.
Like
It wasn't. It wasn't that like dramatic. It was like, oh my god, like I did it, and like why am I crying in the club right now? But yeah, so I hit 1 million followers in November, and then now December, January, March, blah blah blah. We're in June, and I'm at 4.1 million.
wait, let's kind of unpack this for a second. And also I want to get into like the hockey stick growth that I wanted to talk about as well because I'm excited about it. But you started picking up in January of 2019.
February.
What is good content? Sorry, February of 2019. What is good content? Because you were growing 100,000 followers per month. And some people, well, I know some people that are able to do like in 3 days, but other people it takes like a full fucking year or never. So what did you consider good content back then? And then why did you suddenly like fucking plateau?
I okay, so yeah, TikTok goes through like its periods of like, oh, this is popular content, like this is not so popular content. So back then, what was I even doing? Oh, I was doing like hacks, not really
Mm,
hacks, but like a video that went super viral. I did it with my friend, and it was basically we went into the Apple store and we, pushed some buttons on the Apple phone, and then it somehow turned into like a speaker and it played Billie Eilish. And so back then that was a really huge trend, like going into a public place and hacking their speaker system and playing music.
right.
So I did like a couple of those styled videos, not necessarily like, a repeat of um, the speaker in public places, but just to so like creative videos like that. So a lot of it was based on editing sounds and like doing effects and stuff. So that's what I did primarily like when I first started. And then I started to get into content where it was like a lot of like pointing.
Oh, a lot of pointing like this is the quiz. This is the
Yeah,
quiz.
like a lot of
A,
like,
B, C.
yeah. So a lot
Because
of,
you saw that was popular and you wanted to like go with the trends. Is that
mhm.
what you were thinking about at the
I don't
time?
like for me when my content changes, it's not so much based off of other people. It's based off kind of like what I guess I like to watch, and also just like how I grow like as a person. Like I'm never like, okay, this is gonna be it for me. Like I'm gonna do this for like for a good bit, It's just kind of like I just somehow like lead into that. Like it's not even on purpose. I don't know
Right.
how to describe it, but it comes natural. Like the content that I'm doing like for a bit, like it just comes natural, and I just like stick with it because I like to make it. So
It's always an evolving thesis, is what I'm like hearing. Because I remember that Apple TikTok thing with Cosette. That was
mhm.
your friend that did it. And then you started doing funny little sound noises, sketches, like the Ariana Grande squeak squeak
Yeah, yeah,
TikTok
yeah.
that you did, which was like really funny. And then you said you started plateauing. When was that still the same content when you started plateauing with your followers? Or were you trying something new?
Well, I only like plateaued for like a month. So
Right, but that to me is a big time for like the Mia Finney. Okay,
okay. I don't, let's see. That was like in August, September time, I think. During one of the months in the summer. Um, I think and during that time I started to do the story time. So
right.
during the summer, like story times were kind of like popular on TikTok. And like, of course, like some of them are going to be real, some of them are going to be fake. And I had this, I don't even know how I got to this point, but like the first one that I did, it was just kind of like, okay, YOLO story, like it didn't have much like truth to it, but it was like a fun story to do. Like it was a creative story. And then after that, I was like, you know what if I kind of base these off of like movies and TV shows and see if like anybody could guess it, but still like change the plot a little bit so it's, still kind of
Oh,
creative and still kind of like a real
relatable
kind of
almost.
story. So, I mean, like Netflix does it all the time. Like they write these
Right.
stories, they cast the actors. I don't have actors to cast, so I cast myself and like a bunch of like objects and props that I have like around my house. So, after kind of like that plateau period is when I kind of started to do story times, and then I started to
Hmm.
pick back up. And of course, people are going to follow for a good story. And also, that was a time where I realized that storytelling is really important on TikTok. And so, ever since the summer, like September too, I just started to do a lot more storytellings, whether it was like emotional, funny, like creative, like I just kind of wanted to tell a story in each of my TikToks.
Why do you think story is so important? Because I've been analyzing, and I want to analyze like the different subsections of like videos that you have, because I really love how some are fucking comedic and some are so serious and some are really scary. What do you think? Why is it so important to tell a really good story? Why are people so compelled with story in
I
general? Do you
think
think?
I think that anything that strikes an emotion in someone, people are going to feel attached to it. Because it's like if you go and watch like a movie and like a character dies at the end, you're going to feel so attached to that character because you've seen the character go from beginning to end. And so
Hmm.
with my TikToks, even though it's maybe like 15 to, 30 seconds, like you see the beginning of the TikTok, the middle, and then you see the resolution at the end. And so I feel like people really like um, to see a beginning, middle, and end. Like they like that satisfaction of they know what happened in the beginning, they know what
Right.
happened in the middle, and then it's finally or the video is finally
The payoff.
yeah, the payoff of the video. So
I was looking at like, do you script? Like, how do you determine how to structure a story? Because I was looking at the importance of storytelling from this guy that does like this TEDx talk, and he talks about hitting sort of like dopamine levels and oxytocin levels in different parts of your story. Is that something that you know about, or is it just, oh, I know that in this moment I'm gonna get my audience members to hit that dopamine kick, or I know that they're going to be super excited in this part? Like, is there some sort of thing that you do in each story to make sure that you hit those chemicals?
no. Like I like truthfully, yeah, I don't like think about it like that deep. I think mm, I play a lot with visuals. I think visuals are an important part of the stories, especially like on TikTok. Because I mean, you can kind of say whatever, but it's like if people see like multiple clips of you doing something to tell the story, it's going to be more engaging, which
Hmm.
makes people, watch the whole thing. So I don't really think. Oh, okay. So yeah, like I script my videos, but the um, the scripting is not so much based on what I say. It's kind of like what I show.
Oh shit! So like, so I'm an editor, and so usually I'll find the music first, and then I'll start putting the clips together. So I guess what you're saying is I have the images, and what story and things do I say when the images pop up?
Well, like, so let's see if I was gonna plan a video to film today. I
Hmm.
would think of the concept first, and then I would kind of write what I want to say in the voiceover because, of course, that's scripted. So I would think about what I'm going to say in the voiceover, and then as I'm writing it, I also think about what am I going to show during this part. And then so
Oh,
after that's all filmed, I go into Final Cut Pro, I import all the video, and then I kind of just I cut the video according to how long I'm going to speak for that part, and then I'll record it, and then I'll chop it up, cut it to where it exactly needs to be, and then I'll do the music. So the music is like the last thing for me to do because I think that's like the sprinkle on the cake.
the sprinkle on the cake. I mean, there's like some weird rumor, not rumor, but some sort of like YouTube videos and all these like experts. They say that you have to use the music that's on TikTok. Is that true, or do you just use whatever music that you have, and then it's like the original? The original thing is just, you know what?
Hmm.
Who cares about the TikTok music? I'm gonna put whatever I want, and then I'll be okay. Or do you do any sort of like TikTok thing besides using TikTok text sometimes here and there within the video?
So usually in my story time, like story videos on TikTok, I kind of use a lot of old school music instrumentals. I know that instrumentals are unlikely to get copyrighted because they're instrumentals and they don't have any vocals in them.
Right.
So I think you're pretty much safe if you use instrumentals. But I know maybe even a couple of times, like a video has gotten flagged because it recognizes a sound that's on TikTok. And so I kind of been playing around with it for about a few weeks because I've been having trouble with my videos, and I'm not quite sure if it's due to my music choice and like it being copyrighted. But usually, if it is copyrighted, TikTok will tell you. But I haven't been getting that notification, so it's been kind of weird. And so it happened to one of my videos last week.
Right.
I uploaded a video. I used like a CeeLo Green song. It was instrumental, And then it
Got it.
wasn't doing well, and then I don't even know what was going on. And I was like, okay, like I'm gonna take it down and I'm gonna change some stuff just to see, if it's the music, if it's the content. And so I changed the music, and then I think I added a second onto a clip, and then I uploaded again, and then it did well. So I don't know if it was just TikTok being like glitchy or it was really the music. Even though it didn't say it was copyrighted, it
Right, but it wasn't doing well. And for by the way, everyone, do not doing well for Mia is like 200,000, 300,000 views because her videos normally get, what are the average, like 4 million views a video, I think?
mm, I mean, no. Mm,
Like 3 million, I think.
Maybe like 1 or 2 million. Like if you were to really average, like I don't know, maybe like with 20 videos, the last 20 videos, maybe like at least one to two
Yeah.
million.
Wait, what's your biggest video so far? How many views does it have?
It's actually the Bluetooth speaker one. I think that has 40 million.
Is your That's a lot. I mean, do you care about, I mean, okay, so I always tell a lot of creators like, "Hey, do you care about numbers?" And sometimes they give me like skewed answers or not, but be real with me. Do you care about the numbers? And if you do, why?
I think that I do, in the sense that if I put a lot of work into a video and it doesn't get the recognition that I want it to get, then it's like, oh, like I'm kind of like bummed out about it. But I think truly, like at the end of the day, like if I make a video and it doesn't do well, but I really enjoyed making it, then I'm like, okay, whatever. Like it doesn't matter. But sometimes it does kind of get to me because it's like, you put all this work in, like an hour, 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours
Right.
of video, and then like something on the app glitches or whatnot, like you have technical difficulties, and then doesn't do well, and you're like, okay, like I'm bummed out. But I never let that set me back. Like I'm not like, oh, I guess this is not for me. Like I
Right.
keep going. It's just like, okay, gotta bounce it back, gotta get that content out again, like see what's working. So
What pushes you to keep on making that content? Like, for example, the CeeLo Green, like, oh shit, it's not working. I'm gonna delete it, then republish it. What makes you go, okay, that's the video that I'm gonna take down and republish instead of saying, oh, I need to make another one? Like, how did you know with that video it's like I'm going to take down and republish?
I think it was just like a test. Like it literally stopped at 44,000 views for like a whole 12 hours. And
Oh
so I'm
shit.
like, okay, if only 44,000 people saw it out of 4 million, like it's not going to be a big deal if I repost it. That's like a small percentage. So I was
Right.
like, you know what? I'm just going to take the chance on, re-uploading it with different music. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll move on.
I think what I love about you is the fact that, like, I believe that success is small iterations of change, and you're
Mhm.
always evolving your content. Because I see a lot of people and they have millions of views, sorry, followers, and they keep on doing the same thing, and now you're seeing some of their views like dropping because it's the same content. So story time is crushing right now, especially with your dad, who's hopefully going to adopt me one day. And when do you go, all right, Mia, story time is is not falling flat, but I want to try something else? When do you make that transition? Or is storytelling your main thing and then you're just evolving stuff within each different story that makes it different? Like what makes story time different for each one now compared to the hacks?
Well, story time is very broad. Your life is a story. Life
Hmm.
equals story. Like you're living a story. You watch movies. You're literally watching someone live their life and it tells a story. And I think the difference between storytelling and hacks is that, hacks, there's only, I mean, there's a lot of hacks. Like, if you think about it, like, you can, think about ways to do things differently, things to make your life better, things, funny hacks like on TikTok to make people laugh, entertain them. But I think it can kind of come to the point where it's repetitive. It's like the same type of hack because, like, you can recreate that same speaker public or speaker hacking the speaker in public over and over and over with different sounds. Like I've seen people do it in Target, the Apple store, like any stores. And so it becomes, kind of repetitive. But
Right.
with storytelling, you can literally take anything in your room and make it a story. Like that guitar in the background, like you can tell
Yeah.
a story about how you learned to play guitar because you like this one girl and then she dumped you and then you
Yeah,
became her
exactly.
friend and then y'all fell in love, you got married. Or you can be like, hey, like that desk behind you, like that's when you stayed up 6 hours to film that video and edit it, and then all of a sudden your hard drive crashed, and then blah, 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 blah. Like you can literally tell a story out of anything in your possession. Like it's just so simple to tell. You just have to figure out a way to tell it that means something.
Oh, that means something to you. So when you're structuring a story, are you thinking like you said like a beginning and the middle and the end? Is there a story structure that you think you kind of follow? I'm not saying that, hey, this is a formula because I don't believe
Mhm.
in the word formula. I
Mhm.
don't believe that at all. I believe in like a format. And so, is there sort of kind of a format that you want to follow when making your story?
Yeah, for sure. For TikTok, it's easier to follow a formula because it's short and simple. Like I got to keep it in my mind. I got to make it short and simple, but straight to the point. So like it'll be like for the videos of my dad, like we do like recreations of restaurants in our house. So those videos are kind of a formula in the sense that I'll do like 3 or 4 sentences in the beginning as a voiceover. During that voiceover, I'll show like the process of making whatever we're making, and then the next like 13 to 25 seconds is the
Right.
actual like skit part of it.
Oh, okay. So it's like, okay. So the format is introduction. This is what's happening, and then guess what? This is the payoff, you guys. Congratulations! Everything was built onto this.
Yeah.
Um, is there ever a time where because you also have those scary stories? Um, do you think one hack or one thing that you do is like how do you structure kind of like your thumbnails for your TikTok, or does that even matter?
I don't really think that thumbnails really matter. I mean, it only matters if someone's gonna go to your profile and be like, "Oh, which video am I gonna watch?"
Right.
But I think the first 1 to 2 seconds of the video is like the most important. So usually in my storytime videos, like you'll see me draw an arrow or like circle something in the first 2 seconds of the story just to grab the viewer's attention. And I think that's kind of important because you want to grab their attention to watch the whole story. So
Right. First 2 to 3 seconds,
yeah, so
you
I
have to
think
have them.
yeah, so I think the first to 2 seconds is the most important in like having a good thumbnail.
So also, I love that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, so you have this. You're like one of those like one thing that I'm enamored by is the fact that you kind of are one of the execs for this great, wonderful organization on USC called Reach, where you teach people about social media. And one of the things that I love is that you're kind of someone that loves to give back and someone that loves to teach. And so when people in that club go, "Hey Mia, I really need help on TikTok. What is your advice?" What's kind of the first thing that you tell them?
Okay, well, I'm glad you hyped me up like that. But the thing is, when people ask me like what do I do on TikTok, like I tell them like what do you want to do? Like I can't tell people what to post.
Hmm.
Like I just can't because the person who's posting has to, love what they post or at least pretend that they love what they post, like if they're doing it for the money or whatever. But I think it all comes down to you and you experimenting. So I tell them, experiment, see, make content like the creators that you like to watch. Like I think that's such a good way to look at it and like thinking about ideas for content because, like I think 2 to 3 years ago, I use my notes a lot in my iPhone, and so 2 3 years ago I used a page and I was like, okay, what do I want to do with my YouTube? What do I want to do? What do I want to create? And so I think important thing is to make a list of creators that you like to watch
Hmm.
and then create a list of things you like to do. And so you find a way to balance that and make your own you know um,
Version of it.
yeah, your own type of videos. And so like I like to watch, people like David Dobrik, Liza Koshy, Emma Chamberlain. So I picked those 4 people for different reasons. David for his, charisma and filmmaking and storytelling. Liza for her humor and her filming is great too. And Emma for her like quirkiness, like just like funny, quick witted humor. And so like if you take kind of all of those and combine it into one in little pieces, and then you add your personality, you get this fresh type of content that you don't see on your, for you page or YouTube recommended every
Right.
single second, because you see the same stuff all the time.
everything's always the same. Like it's always to me when I look at something, I'm like, oh shit, I've seen this before. But I think the biggest thing that is kind of different is the personality that carries forward into the screen, or as I like to say, the vulnerability of that person.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right, and I think the reason why that you are exploding or have exploded, and you're going to continue, is because of the fact that you're very vulnerable. But every time someone thinks about the vulnerability, I feel like they always think like someone's like sad or crying, but
Hmm.
not necessarily. Vulnerability to me is just authenticity of who you are.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, would you agree with that, or like how do you showcase sort of like vulnerability and authenticity in your content? Like, is that just a feeling or practicing or?
I think, well, with storytelling, that might be kind of hard because like what you're doing is like sort of scripted, you know? So you don't want to force yourself to show who you are. You want that to come across as natural. So you're not like, to make it genuine, I feel like, let's see, how would I like put this? Because you don't want to force yourself to look good. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You want to force yourself. You don't want to show people like, oh, that's a really good person. Like, wow. You don't want to um like boast about yourself like too much where it seems like you're forcing it, you know? You just want it to come across as natural. And I think that again, like if you love the content you're making, it's going to come across like that. You're going to come across, as a genuine person, like, oh, I want to be their friend type of, guy.
right. So if you're not enjoying it, then fuck.
Cuz I feel like people will see through that, Like
I have,
in a point or another, like people will kind of see like, oh, like do they like making videos like still like
or do
oh,
they like making the videos that they're making, or are they just trying to force so they can get some clout?
yeah, and then like, some creators will be like, "Sorry guys, like I haven't been feeling the videos I've been making. Like I've let you guys down." Like you've seen like types of those like videos
Oh, a
surface,
lot.
and then it's just like you got to find yourself again. And I think that's
There's
another thing, like a lot of people force themselves, put out content like every single day, and it's like I don't think cuz I kind of used to do that. Like I used to post 3 TikToks a day, and now I'm like the thought of 3
Whoa.
TikToks a day, I'm like, "What? Like why?"
That's a lot.
I know. And so now, like, especially during quarantine, I'm like, you know what? Posting a video every 1 to 2 days isn't bad. Like, it's actually good and refreshing for you because you're not pushing your brain like forcefully to think of a video idea. Like, even though it's good to, brainstorm every day, maybe like
Mhm.
giving you that break, that 1 day break or however many days break, kind of gives your brain, some time to refresh and make good content. Cause I always think quality over quantity. Like, I think
Okay.
that followers are going to want like one good video instead of having like 3 crappy videos.
But when do you know when to post? Like, for example, what I mean is sometimes good enough is good enough.
Mhm.
So if you're like, what is quality versus okay? You know what? I've been working on this video. I've been working on this idea. Now it's just time to press publish. Because there's
Mhm.
a lot of artists out there that are like, oh, it has to be fucking perfect before I publish it. So how do you work that out with, balancing out the quality versus quantity, but still making sure that you're posting a video at least once or twice a week?
Yeah. I don't really believe like, oh, this got to be perfect. Like I think of more so I do a video and I'm like, wow, like I really love this video. I love this video more than the last video I made. So when I have that same feeling, that's how I know like I've made a quality video. Like I like the videos I've been making over quarantine. Every video I post, I'm like, wow, like I really love this video. I love this video more than the last video. Then I'll turn around, make another video, be like, wow, I love this video more than the last video. So I think that if you're able to love your videos and not get tired of them, I mean, at least
Right.
after like 10 watches or so, like then you know you've made like a quality video because you're proud of it. I feel like if creators are proud of their videos, then that's quality.
I like that. Now I know this might be. I mean, I like how all the tips and everything, and I know this might be a little, like a little even deeper into it because I want to talk about it because I love it. When it comes to money, for
Hmm.
example, there's a lot of different scenarios where some people get paid more than others. And do you think that's because of like genre or negotiation power? I'm not going to tell people how much you make, but I know how much, but I'm not going to say it. But the well, only because I'm in the side of the business where I know like how much I would price certain people, and I come
Mm-hmm.
from a place sometimes where I'm like, if I'm coming from a brand side, I'm like, oh, let's not charge this creator too much. But then if I'm on the creator side, I'm like, charge this brand this much. But
Yeah.
how do you determine kind of your self worth, or is there some sort of like format again or formula that you use when you're thinking about charging people to do a brand deal with you?
I think that regards to the first thing you said, I think it does matter kind of what genre you are in because, someone who does tech reviews and product reviews, like I think statistically they're going to get paid more than, you know, other people that don't
Hmm.
do tech reviews. Let's say like what's like a random genre? Like
Uh, Rubber bands. There's a rubber band TikToker that
no, no,
makes
no,
really
like
art.
maybe that was a bad example. But like beauty gurus,
Scary. Oh,
beauty
Booty
gurus,
Guru.
they
Okay.
make literally the most money like ever, like on YouTube. Like they make so much money and they also get like, free makeup every month and all the little perks compared to, someone that makes horror story times because
Like you make horror story times on YouTube.
yeah, so I think that that plays a role because, I don't know, from your side, from the brand things, like you kind of want to get what? Like if you
I
were going
want
to
to.
like market
If I,
something.
if I'm gonna market something, I'm looking for someone that's wholesome that doesn't cuss a lot. I'm looking for someone that has a demographic of usually over the age of 20 because they have purchasing power.
Mhm.
Anybody underneath the age of 20, I'm very like speculative because I'm like, oh, those people are just for brand awareness. So, for example, if I like a Chipotle, or if I'm like, let's say like a SeatGeek where I just want awareness, then
Mhm.
yeah, I'll definitely go to like someone like David Dobrik or whatever. But if I'm looking for somebody with like purchasing power for like a specific product, then
Yeah.
I'll go into someone that's like John Hill or Sarah Dietschy, Sam Shepard, people more in the tech, and then if I want to go for CBG, which is consumer product goods, because I have some of those as brand people. Then I'll go for usually women that have again purchasing power of like 20 plus. But that could be any genre as long as it's not in the scary.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
So
so
like
yeah.
yeah, like exactly. Like I think just the genre like really like depends. But I think that also if you don't stick to one type of, story time telling, it could work. So like right now I'm kind of thinking about manipulating my storytelling in a way so it's more broad, you
Hmm.
know, so that I can incorporate, let's say, like more brand deals into my videos and still keep it like a story time.
What do you mean broad? I mean, isn't your father thing a very broad thing, or no? Do you not think so?
Oh, I was talking about YouTube, but
Oh, YouTube, yes. Oh yeah, your YouTube, your CPM is not that high only because it's like a very scary.
yeah. So I'm trying to like broaden it so that, there's more opportunities for like brand deals there. But yeah.
Or
That's
do
not
you
like
do?
my main concern because I love making the horror story time. So I'm not gonna let,
Right.
CPM or like brand deals ruin what I like to do.
What about your CPM? Not sorry. What about your brand deals on TikTok? I know that you've done a few like with Ralph's and Kroger's and a few other
Mhm.
things. Are you thinking about incorporating brand deals with TikTok because there's a lot of money in there too, due to
Yeah.
the fact that you do have 4 million?
Yeah. So a lot like recently I've been getting like, I mean, I get emails about brand deals and stuff on TikTok, but like I'm super picky. And when I do go with a brand deal, I make sure that I'm really getting my worth and it's, worth my time and it's, a good, chunk of money. So I'm very selective. So like you'll rarely ever see me do a brand deal like on TikTok.
Why though? Is it because what do you mean like selective as in just money, or selective as in it has to match your brand, or like do people feel like if you would do a brand deal right now, it's like you feel like a sellout or something, or no?
No, it's not really much of that. It's more so like if I really like the brand, what they stand for, and if they're really, if they value my worth in like my platform.
And you're worthy. You're fucking worthy. Um, what about okay? So right now, you said something to me in a text a while ago, and it just got me thinking. And the text was this: You're like, listen, um, Black Lives Matter. The movement is going on, and
Hmm.
we definitely need more Black creators. But I do not define myself as kind of like a Black creator. And so, what do you mean by that? And what do you think about everything? Is there a cat over there?
No, it's my dad. He's just creeping.
Tell your dad that I want to be adopted by him.
I think he left.
Oh damn.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry, we're almost done soon. But yeah, what how do you define yourself, especially in this time of this movement going on? Because I do see a lot of like white creators, and they're talking about BLM, but then I still see like, oh wait, all your crew is still white. Or does that make sense?
Yeah. So like a lot of people like to comment, like I see like a lot of comments on like people's like friend groups, and then just like, oh, why don't you add some flavor? Like where's the spice? Like where's the diversity? And like you see that type of comment and you're like, yeah, like where is the diversity? But then I see both sides. Like it's like, who you're around is like who you're around. Like you're not gonna like go to some other neighborhood or go somewhere else just to get a diverse friend. And I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of the times like our friends are just like people who like are around us. Like I grew up like, in like Hawaii, and my friends were only the only people like around me. Like I wasn't going, to like I wasn't like on social media like making friends like in other places that weren't near me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a
Yeah.
lot of the times your friends are the people that you live with, that you're like with. So I get that point. Like it's like, okay, like those are the people that they're around, they live with them, like whatever. But then it also kind of makes you think like, oh, like are they racist? Or like or they just have never thought about making friends outside of their race. So I feel like there's like a lot of things, like some people like they're like, oh, like I get uncomfortable around so and so. Like I don't think people like actually say that, but there can be some like internalized racial,
Bias.
yeah, bias, and they're like, oh, I don't, they feel uncomfortable or like uneducated on that person's race, so it makes them uneasy. Like I feel like that can be like a situation, like a problem. But yeah, I don't know. Like I
Like,
just
what do you find? What's important to you right now, especially with this movement? Like, how do you want? Like, are you thinking about like how do you find a way to? Because I know that you care about this. I know you care about
Mhm,
the movement in so many different ways. So, what is the type of change that you kind of want to see in the creator world, and what do you think people should do more of, especially if you're a creator? Is
mhm.
that type of question?
I think that the momentum, keeping it alive on social media, is something that's going to help change like the way the world works. And I think that, it has a lot to say about our generation of people. And like so far, like there's been so many changes, but obviously not enough changes. And so
Right.
I think that if we keep up the momentum online, like with our creators and such, um, it'll be easier to help make a bigger change because everyone's talking about it. And so I think like from creators, I don't like you don't have to post every single post doesn't have to be about, Black Lives Matter,
Right.
but incorporating it like on your Instagram story or like, donating some of your ad revenue from your YouTube videos. Like I'm doing that every month now.
Oh,
And
you are?
yeah,
That's so dope.
yeah, so it's like it's not even like you don't even have to do like $1,000, like literally $100 every month or something, $100, $200. You can donate to organizations to help the movement, help the cause, and keep working for that change. But I also like a lot of people are like, oh, like is it safe to post now? Like I feel like is it safe to post isn't very
That's such a
inaccurate.
weird statement to
Yeah,
say.
it is a weird statement. Like I think especially during the times where it was like at its like highest point, like the first 2 to 3 weeks of George Floyd's death, I think a lot of people are like, oh, like should I post, like blah blah, like I don't know what to say, I'm uneducated. And like I think with creators that seem that they feel uneducated or they don't feel like it's their place to speak about stuff like that, I think that they should kind of look at it in a new perspective of like, oh, I'm uneducated on this, so I'm gonna focus on this part of the movement to get educated on and work my way up. Like you don't have to know everything about Black history. Like I don't even know everything about Black history, but I was able to speak a lot about what's going on, like my views
Right.
and opinions. And I think that's another thing of being vulnerable, speaking your views and opinions, because people don't want to lose followers. Like people
Yeah,
don't
they
want to
don't.
lose brand deals. And it's like, if that's what you really care about, okay, like be honest that you care about that. Don't lie and be like, I support Black Lives Matter, but then do this way, like if you don't care, say you don't care, like you're gonna get backlash, but at
Yes.
least you're being like honest. So I think it just comes down to the point of how you feel and how passionate you are about it. Like, not everyone's going to feel passionate about it. Like, in a perfect world, we hope that everybody would be passionate about human rights, like
Right,
basic
of
human
course.
rights. Like, it's not even political, like, it's basic human rights. But, like, if you don't have it in you to, like, even, like, say what you think or say, oh, what you're doing to help, because, like, all of that, like, if you're a creator, 200K, 300K, like, that speaks something. Like, if you can help those 10, let's say 20 people, like, on your story, like, feel motivated to go, educate themselves, then that's like amazing. Like, you're not going to expect all your followers to do the same as you. It's just you putting in that voice saying, I'm going to do, you know, my part and educate myself, and I'll tell you guys what I learned. Like, saying something like that is like amazing, because then someone looks up to you as
Yeah,
like,
they
wow,
do.
like that's a really good role model. Like, you opened up a new perspective of them to look at you, like, and I feel like, even though it should be a uh how should I put this, like, a lot of people, like, I see on TikTok comments, they're like, oh, my respect for you went way up, and it's like,
Right.
that should be like the bare minimum. And I think that since not a lot of people talked about issues like this before the movement, kind of says something about like our society. But now I think it's becoming more normalized to speak about these issues.
It's like less taboo, but also people want to be educated about it.
Yeah, so even though, like, it sucks that it's like a trend and that it's a hashtag, but like, it's now, I think more of it. So, like, even though it started off like that, I think it's more than, just a hashtag to people now. Like, before, like, I can kind of see where, another Black person would die, and then everyone would be like, rip so and so, and then they would
Right.
move on. But I think that after George Floyd's death is when everybody, like, just, they snapped, like, in rage.
Right. It's like the
And
straw on the camel's back for a second, and
yeah,
it's like,
like,
"Let's go right now."
everyone just woke up and everyone started posting on social media. And like, when you see that, like, you get involved, like the protest, like, it makes you feel so empowering. Like, you see someone marching saying Black Lives Matter, and you, like, want to get in there and start
Yeah, of
marching, and
course.
like, it's like a whole community of people, like, just fighting for basic human rights. And I feel like it does something to you, because like, during that whole, like, 1 to 3 weeks, like, I was feeling like, okay, like, I'm feeling hopeful, like, let's go,
Right.
like, everyone's making a change. So I think that just, you know, actually being passionate about it, and like putting your voice out there, as a creator with followers, like, it's really important, especially to like the younger generation. Cause like, older generation, they're like, dying out, like, like, they're gonna die out soon. So we need like people who care about basic human rights to step up into the government and, make a change. So
Do you feel you said that in the first 1 to 2 to 3 weeks you were hopeful. Are you still hopeful right now?
yeah, like, I'm still pretty hopeful. Like, the protests are still going on. Like, I just saw a protest, like, in my city 2 days ago. And also, just like, side note, like, it's so crazy how the first 2 weeks, I think, of it, like, all you saw were riots on TV, and people were, affiliating, Black Lives Matter with rioting. And it's like, no, like, that's not it at all. Like, there's literally people out there taking the opportunity to make this movement look bad, and, get people to hate on this movement. And then, like,
Right.
1 or 2 weeks after that, you see no riots. It's all peaceful protests. And then now you don't see anything. Like, you rarely see anything on the news about any protests. So it's like kind of weird to
That
think
that
about.
says that says a lot.
Oh
That
yeah,
says a
for
lot.
sure.
I mean, when the protests begin to die down, and unfortunately, that's how it usually happens. What's like a positive thing that you hope to still see after the protests kind of like die down?
Like, what do I see after the
Like,
protest?
yeah, like what would you see? Like, okay, yes, people are not protest. Not a lot of people are protesting on the streets right now, but what would you like to see more of? Like, okay, yes, the protests are down, but if you continue doing X, Y, Z, I still know that the movement is still strong and always strong.
Yeah, I think, like, again, like, social media is a huge, like, platform, and a lot of, I think, mostly the creators with, big platforms on there, I think it's really important for them to still speak about it, because if you see your favorite creator speaking about it, you're going to feel more entitled to speak about it. Talk about it to your friends, your family, like anyone. Like you can even talk about it on your own social media to like your small group of followers, like people who don't even have like a big following. It's still like a spark of a conversation. So basically, I guess like after the protests, die down, um just having conversations with one another is probably going to be really, it'll be a long lasting, not long lasting, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Uh, it'll be like a long-lasting, momentous change. I don't know. I don't know
No,
what
like
you mean.
it'll just be. No, I'm just kidding.
It'll be like normalized by the
Yeah,
fact
yeah,
that we
yeah.
can talk
It'll be
about
like
it.
it'll be a normalized topic and conversation.
Like it's no more like, oh, everyone put your defenses up because like Mia or Jonathan wants to talk about race right now. It's like, you know
Yeah.
what? It's normalized. Let's talk about it. It's here right now. What is racially insensitive? What is not? I know that Mia and Jonathan, when they decide to project, their opinions and voice on it, that they're not
Hmm.
attacking me. They're just talking about the system. And I think more people will definitely be open on it. I mean, sometimes I don't have that many followers, only like 5,000, but I feel like sometimes there's like some sort of like responsibility because I'm a person of color.
Hmm.
And as like one of my friends just said, she DM'd me and she's like, "Hey, just remember," because I posted something earlier on my Instagram, I think like a few days ago, something like just funny, like I got COVID test or whatever, and she said,
Hmm.
"Everything that you post, you're either for or against the movement."
Hmm.
And I was like, I understand that, but sometimes, you just want to post just to post, like some fun stuff, and so it's like a great balance. But do
Hmm.
you feel then kind of that responsibility sometimes, like to do more because people look up to you, especially, and also because you are a person of color?
Hmm. Well, I feel like like the people of color, like especially like the Black community, like it's not necessarily like our job to educate other communities about our history. It's so much more other communities taking the time to learn about, what's going on. Because at the end of the day, like we can only say so much.
Hmm.
And it's really the power of you taking it upon yourself to educate yourself. Because like I can say like all I want like all day, but like you actually taking the effort to read about it, learn about it, watch about it, like says a lot, like I can help motivate you, inspire you to, be responsible and take accountability, but like at the end of the day it's like on you.
Dude, you inspire me and motivate me a lot every fucking day. No, can I talk about, by the way, thank you for that. I just wanted to get your perspective on that. I understand I didn't want to like go too much
Hmm.
into it for the entire podcast, but I'm glad that we were able to like touch on it. One of the things, so I really wanted to talk about this since now that we're in the conversation, which is kind of cool. So I remember this in January.
Hmm.
You, for some reason, you randomly texted me. I don't know about what, and I guess it was like really late at night, and I became like I don't know, super high or whatever on life, because I don't do drugs right now. I only smoke weed once every 4 months. Anyway, I smoked weed actually on Monday because it was my brother's birthday, 21st, and we just had to. But anyway, um, you texted me, and for some reason I said you're gonna. I think you were like 1.4 million TikTok followers, I think, and I was like, you're gonna fucking explode. You're gonna go crazy. You're gonna have this like hockey stick growth. And sure enough, I just want to like give myself like a pat on the back, okay? All right, because I fucking and I was like, things are gonna happen, and sure enough, boom, we're here in June/July now. You're
That's
at 4
crazy.
million. You're fucking crushing it. You got your YouTube 100,000 plaque. What up? And I just want to say this is how kind of like I was because I study this. And
Hmm.
okay, so this is gonna be like really weird. And I want to say something. First off, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am not a stalker. Okay,
Jesus.
I just look at certain creators that have this quality about them, and I have this like gut feeling that sometimes you look at someone, you're like, oh my god, this person is a star. And there's a lot of people like that in this world, but
Hmm.
I tend to like gravitate towards stars who I feel are kind of like the unpopular popular people. And what
Mhm.
do I mean by that is they create content that is so different, and also where society will look at them and say, "Hey, they're not going to make it." Does that make sense? Like they're kind of like the underdog. Like
Mhm.
Alan, for example, Alan Chicken Chow, who does K-pop stuff. On first glance, you're like, "Oh, that's gonna go nowhere," blah blah blah. But then he fucking crushes it because the way that he does it, it's different, right? Okay, Mia Finney. Right in the very beginning, you weren't a TikTok ambassador. You were kind of like overlooked a little bit, which is like, what the fuck? This doesn't make any sense, right? Because you didn't fit in a certain category that they wanted you to. But then you're always evolving your content. You're always doing what you love. You're always being consistent, and boom, things happen. Well, so I don't have a spreadsheet per se, but on my phone I have a bunch of notes of different creators that I often look at consistently. Um, is that is that stockish? I don't know. But anyway, um, you when you texted me, I remember as soon as you texted me, I was like, oh, let me just check out Mia Finney's stuff again because I absolutely love her work. And what I saw is you were making consistent content of like story times, and what you could see is that you could see a bump of like views. Like I
Mhm.
remember one of them was like 200,000 and 400,000, and this one was like a million, then back to 200,000, and
Million? What video was that?
I forget where, but it was like 800,000,
Are
close
you
to it.
talking about on YouTube?
No, I'm talking about TikTok.
Oh.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah, okay.
I- I'll explain in a second, right? And then on YouTube, I saw that you did a really great job in transitioning your audience from TikTok to YouTube. And how you were doing that was you did an actual full story, not a recap of the story, but like a full story. Like, if you want to learn exactly what happens, go to my fucking YouTube, which was like so smart. And it's a plan of action because some people they go, "Hey guys, I have a YouTube channel," and nothing happens because they're just
Mhm.
doing a recap. But people follow because they want to know more. So that
Mhm.
continuation, genius. So I saw that incremental. I was like, okay. And so I believe in the content of it's called the waterfall. But I call it the reverse waterfall, where basically if you're posting the same amount of content and you're seeing like growth, once one hits, then the reverse waterfall means that everything below here will just climb up.
Yeah.
And so in January, when I was seeing that consistent thing, I was like, this person's going to have a hockey stick growth. And then I just did some weird, stupid calculations. I was seeing that you were posting a minimum of twice a week on TikTok and then once a week on YouTube, at least, kind of like once every
Mhm.
other week. And so then I just like literally just took a stupid piece of paper. Okay, this is so
A
stupid.
mad
Yeah.
scientist here.
Right. And I just started like averaging out the numbers per week. And then I said, okay, looking at Social Blade, also looking at like her TikTok growth, and then so I just made an assumption that around like Mayish and everything that you were about to hit like a hockey stick growth, and then you'll be like a certain number, and you basically surpassed it. But you should be very so. Basically, what I'm saying is. You should give yourself a round of applause because you made me fucking cry.
Oh,
Because
stop.
not because no because no it's because you're the underdog, and every time I see an underdog in some sort of way, I think to myself like, fuck, if this underdog can do it, then all these other underdogs can do it. Because I look at myself as an underdog, and then it's like you want to be a part of that. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, before I just wanted to say that little rant. Okay, that's it.
No, I loved
Uh,
it. Thank you.
before we end with one thing, there's two questions I have. The first question is like, do you ever get overwhelmed with all of this stuff? Because right now you're doing TikTok and YouTube, and now you're slowly getting back into Instagram. Like, how do you balance it all out? Like, if someone goes to like, hey Mia, how do you balance it all out? Like, what's the advice that you think that you can tell somebody?
How do I balance? Never really thought about it. What do I do? Well, I mean, like right now, like during quarantine, I play a lot of ping pong with my dad. We play a
Oh,
lot of games like darts and stuff. We chill on the couch. We have family dinners. My mom is the best cook. So I think a lot of it like um revolves around family time because I think that like family is like super important to me. And another thing is just like not forcing it. Like if you don't feel like it that day, then you don't feel like it. Don't do it. Like chill in bed. Like I stay up late every single freaking night, wake up late every single freaking day, and like I'm just chilling. Like I'm just straight chilling. Like it's quarantine. Like there's a pandemic. There's like all this stuff going on. Like what is there? I need like what do I need to do? Like I mean, yeah, like I obviously spend like, every day brainstorming and writing, stories and stuff. But like I just don't apply any pressure to myself. I just, let myself chill. And then, when I feel like filming, like I'll film. Like there's no like I don't put any unnecessary pressure on myself because the moment you start putting pressure on yourself is the moment you start getting stressed and then you start getting concerned about money, then views, and it's just it all falls down on you, and then you get sad, maybe depressed, and it's just not good. Not a good life, not a good time. So I just kind of let myself chill, let it go, and like have fun and be around people that I love.
God, that's
That's how
beautiful.
I guess that's how I balance it all.
See, I gotta learn that. I sometimes get like really stressed out, and because of it, I get into like the corner of my room and I just like break down and cry.
See, exactly. That is not what we want.
No, that's not what we want. Because a smiling Jonathan and a smiling Mia, we're the shit because we do what we do, right? But that's why I started this podcast and started redoing it again because I love it so much. Um, and what is the last question then is like, what's your if I were to say, hey Mia, what's your perfect day? By the way, no, wait. What's your like? What do you see yourself in the social media world like in a couple years?
I think recently, like, I kind of want to do like voice acting or something, like
Oh,
narration of
really?
some sort. Yeah, I don't know. Like, people have said like, oh, like she has a good voice for narration or whatever, and I'm like, hmm. Like, I can kind of see myself. I always tell my friends like, I can kind of see myself as like a little penguin, like in an animated cartoon movie or something, like the little penguin.
Squishy squish, like Happy Feet.
Yeah, like literally that penguin. Like I can see myself being like one of those type of characters. Like, hi, like what are you doing? But I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to go more into like the film world because of my story times. It's like horror genre, like thriller type of stuff. So like I wouldn't like it would be kind of cool to like even do something with Netflix, like partner with them. But like I think another goal of mine is to like partner with like a movie company and then to work
Mm,
with them to like
create an actual movie.
oh actually oh like in terms of like YouTube, like I guess like do brand deals like promoting their movie because my story times are just movie plots. So it's like I'm gonna retell this story and change a bunch of stuff. But if you like what this is, then go watch a movie similar to this story, and here it is. Like I think that's so perfect. Like I'm just waiting for that movie company to be like, hey, like we have this movie, can you promote it in your whole story time? That's literally like a 10 minute.
DreamWorks.
It's literally a 10-minute video telling their movie. Like
That'd be badass. That'd be
Like that,
badass.
that, that that's so like there's no one like you see like movie companies pay creators to be like, "Hey, I'm watching this movie. Come see it on July 3rd at home." And it's just so forced. But if you literally find a creator that makes a movie and TV show like story times, then you're like golden. But I mean, I also got to work with Lionsgate like a month or two ago to promote like their online movies. So they were showing a movie every Friday and they were donating a percentage to out of work movie theater workers.
Oh, that's so cool. How was that? Did you do something similar where you made like your own little movie for them, or
Yeah.
like?
Oh, I did like a TikTok and no. I did an Instagram story, a little recreation of my recreation of a movie theater for my Instagram story. But like if there was a movie company out there
Hey,
wanting
DreamWorks, you
to
heard it first, Mia Finney.
or
Oh,
Marvel, like if you got a movie, like we're on quarantine, like YouTube is the thing right now. I will promote your video for 10 minutes on my YouTube channel. Like I feel like that's a dream, like for
yeah,
brand,
that is a dream.
like literally, and then link right here for the movie. Like
Oh,
I'm
that'd
just
be badass.
that's another thing when you're talking about oh what genre what niche is more likely to make more money than the other. Like I think my genre is very kind of specific, but once a brand matches with me, it's like this long lasting, it could be a long lasting partnership instead of like one time thing.
Yeah, that's what you'll get. I mean, you're a fucking Mia fucking Finney. Um, wait, so okay, so imagine this. You wake up in the morning, whatever time you want to wake up. What does your perfect day look like? So, what time do you wake up? What exactly happens? It could be anything. This could be like a dream state vacation. Who knows? But what is the perfect day for Mia Finney?
Like quarantine style.
It doesn't matter what it is. It could be anything.
A perfect. I don't really like think of it like that though.
Oh,
Like
what
I
do you
don't
think
like
about
having
then?
perfect days. Like every
You
day is
just
a good day. Every day is a perfect day.
oh wow, easy.
Well, I don't know, cause like I just wake up, go on my phone for an hour or two, eat some food, take a shower, plan some video ideas, film with my dad, stay up late, play ping pong, eat dinner. Like it's like I don't have, you know, an ideal of a perfect anything. Like I just go through life.
You
Like
just be.
like each day is like a blessing, and like your day your days are only as good as you make them. And so
Mhm.
like if you make it perfect every day, if you make it good every day, like you're not going to have any bad days. Like I don't know, I don't have like a perfect day. Like I just
No,
cherish
I
life.
get it now. Yeah.
Like do you have a perfect day?
Wow. Well, I did, but now thinking about it, now thinking about your answer, no, I always think about like waking up at 7 a.m. with my significant other, whoever I'm with, and then we, use separate restrooms, and then we like change, and
But you
then
think
we
about it
cook.
like that. Like I don't even think about it like that.
Yeah, I just think about like, oh, and then I go to work and I love my job, and then we go to like an event, and then my significant other like arrives out of nowhere, and I silently go, "I love you," but like not saying it out loud in front of like the circle of people, and then she looks at me back and says the same thing, but of course it's like in silence. Like,
It sounds like a movie.
yeah, that's what I want, and then we come back, and then we give each other a high five. We don't have any sex, which is weird, I guess. My perfect day. Not just thinking about it, and we just talk and go to sleep or read a book. But I think that's like a perfect day. But I love how you just stated like you're alive and every day is a blessing. So
Like literally, like your health is so important. Like I think before this pandemic, like people were like, "Screw my health," like I don't care, like blah blah blah. But like health is real. Like it's literally your life. Like I feel like
yeah,
people don't really like really realize how important their health is. Like there's some people who are dying, have cancer, like going through rough surgeries, like literally the worst. And it's like your health is literally one of the most important things ever.
it's so crazy because right now in the beginning of quarantine, I was like so stressed out because I was thinking about which clients do I need to get, how much money do I have to make. Oh my God, I'm not going to sleep. People coming in saying, do this, Jonathan. The economy's going to shit, so you need to do this deal. And now I'm kind of learning right now that I know this might be a little privileged to say, I guess,
Hmm.
but I feel as if with the skills that I have, and if I budget correctly, money will always come, and money like is a problem and is a worry, but it doesn't have to be that bad because at the end of the day, if I listen to my body when it says, Jonathan, it's time to sleep, Jonathan, like you have to eat something. And if I follow that mindset of like listen to what my body needs,
Hmm.
then when it's time to do work or find a deal or to make money, I'm more likely to actually be productive in doing so.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so that is kind of like the mindset that I have right now is just, Jonathan, listen to your fucking body. And it's one of the hardest things because, we grow up in this like capitalistic environment where we're always on the go. And, I come from an immigrant family. And so uh, everything was always like work, 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 and then give that money back to your family type of scenario, right? And through this whole pandemic, which is kind of like a weird blessing in disguise, is
Yeah.
that everyone kind of sees each other now in kind of like an equal footing,
Hmm.
right? And so if we're all kind of like on that starting line, then the things that matter usually come out first before everything else.
No, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking
It's
about that.
interesting to think about though, like this whole time of the pandemic, the protests, like it was like a turning point. Like 2020, like we were like, oh, I'm tired of 2019. Like 2020 is gonna be the best year. And like a lot of people are like, oh, 2020 is canceled. And like I don't think I used to think of it like, oh, like 2020 is so bad. But
No.
I don't think about that anymore because literally like we've gotten so many good things, I mean, and also like bad things out of it, but like look, we're making changes to the way society thinks about race, and we're standing up for like racial injustice, like we're doing like great things that we didn't even do in the past. And then with the pandemic thing, like I think now we're being more cautious about, what we touch, how we like interact, and like we're clean. Like America was kind of dirty, like not gonna lie. And like even through quarantine, like LA had one of the most like cleanest like air going around,
Right.
had the cleanest air. And so it's like, wow, like if we really, take what we learned going through this pandemic and forward, like, we're gonna live, a clean life. Because like I bet you like anyone, like if you were to ask like someone like, oh, like how much were you washing your hands before the pandemic, they'd probably be like, oh yeah, like I was washing them pretty much, or pretty often. But like secretly, like they probably weren't doing as much washing
Right.
as
I
they
mean, I
were.
would use the restroom at my home, and I didn't even wash my hands
See
afterwards.
people like you, but now we're like, oh, the thought of not washing your hands, like disgusting. The thought of touching your face, disgusting. And so I feel like all of these changes, even though they came with bad stuff with it, all of these changes were going to be something that's long lasting for us.
It's almost like a as my mother said, but she works a lot, but also like this other dude who said at the party, but we were all high, not my mom, but these kids. We're like it was like this pandemic thing is almost in a way a reset button for everybody.
It
Just
literally is.
right
It's such
to
a
be like yeah, to be like what is important in my life and what should I be focusing on in my life. And yes, you may have those people like, hey, listen, those like people that are self-proclaimed people in their fields going, this is the best time because when you're done, people are going to be asking you, what did you do? And did you advance and create all this type of content and grow your following? But I think at the end of the day, like if you really think about it, all your job was is to really just be healthy, stay alive, and reflect on what you think is important for the people around you, but specifically for you. I
yeah,
don't know.
a lot of time to think.
Yeah. All right, Mia. Thank you for this conversation. Where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at whereis_Mia. My TikTok is at Mia Finney, and my YouTube is at Mia Finney. And if you're feeling extra, you can add me on Snapchat at whereis_Mia.
Do people really still do Snapchat?
I love Snapchat. I don't care what anyone says.
Wait,
I
why
love.
do you love Snapchat so bad? I mean, I text a few people here and there, and then, but like, but don't worry. I always ask. Like, I go, hey, is it okay if I can screen save your shit when you send me stuff? Is that okay with you? Actually, I said that to one person today, and she's like, yeah, definitely. I was like, okay, cool, 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 cool,
Screen
cool.
share.
No, screenshot.
Screenshot.
Like save it. Like if
Oh,
they send like
screen
a
share.
really cool like text or something, and I want to laugh, and I'm like, oh, click. But what do you like?
You can
Why do you
turn on,
what?
you can turn on turn on the setting to save the messages.
Really? Oh my god! Why I want to do that?
It's just
But
like in the settings, like you tap their Bitmoji and then you tap the settings within it, and then you say like, oh, it'll delete in 24 hours, but like you have it. You can save them.
oh shit! And but then they know, right? But so you have to
No,
ask permission.
it just says it. Like it'll say it in the chat, like, oh, user has changed setting chat to 24 hours and then delete message.
Why do you like Snapchat so much?
I don't know. Like I like the filters.
Yeah, it makes
I
sense.
don't know. Like I don't know. I don't really know. Like I just like sending funny like videos or like pictures. Like it's so much easier than going on iMessage and sending someone a video. Because then
That's
it saves
true.
your camera roll. Like Snapchat, you just send it and then it's like gone. And
Right,
not
it's
unless
gone.
you
It's
save
gone in
it.
the cloud unless they screenshot it. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, Mia. I absolutely adore you.
Oh,
Yeah, you're fucking so dope. Uh,
stop.
all right, everyone. Mia's dope, and bye.
Bye.